What's up, YouTube? This is Gilbert of Lala Lakers with Dizzy Gaming, here to bring you yet another video. And today's topic is going to be how to set up a proper bait. So in League, obviously, the first thing I want to mention is that it's not always beneficial to go for a bait when you're in the lead. One of the most common misconceptions that I see is that, oh, we're ahead and they think we're going for dragon, let's bait. Well, that's mostly okay, for the most part, because I'll talk about that. I'll talk about why it's mostly okay to go for a bait, but not always. If they have a very strong team fight comp and you have more of a siege comp, let's say Jace, Nidalee, stuff like that, you're gonna want to be pushing down turrets and objectives rather than hiding in a bush and trying to ambush someone, because they can very easily turn that into, if one person thinks they saw someone caught out and in reality the team was there and they were grouped, that can very quickly turn your lead into a deficit. So if used incorrectly, I think baits can kind of bait yourself, but um, when used properly, they are very, very effective. So one of the most important things that another thing that I see very common in my elo, because I'm lower elo, is that people bait not only for no reason but also in random spots. Like, I know the Fnatic bush is made popular, and that's kind of something different. That's, at the top levels of play. It's kind of, once you start getting to like the reverse psychology, you can't really plan for reverse psychology. Like, it's so stupid it's smart. That kind of thing you can't really plan for. So for the most part, you want to set up a bait at or around an objective that's up. So or that's coming up. Most common, obviously, the death bushes. Those are the ones that everyone knows. Baron, Dragon. They have those small little bushes that 5 people can fit in, yet it looks extremely small. It's a party in the bush, but it's it's good because after you get the reason you want to set up a bait at an objective or at an objective that's coming up soon is because not only do you get the kills if the bait's successful, but you get the objective anyways immediately after. So instead of forcing an objective, which is something I see so many times, teams that can maybe get dragon if the attention's not on them, they go for dragon and they take so much damage, and then the team filters in and just cleans up and aces them and most likely gets dragon afterwards as well. Whereas, a simple bait in a bush that's pinked, which I'll get to right now, can not only get you maybe 2 or 3 kills, who knows, an ace as well, but 2 or 3 kills at the minimum, or one, I guess it would be the minimum, but also gets you the objective afterwards. It's so much safer than going for the objective, taking a lot of damage, especially early game when Dragon and Baron kind of hurts. Taking a lot of damage and then having to fight afterwards. It's just, the bait makes sense in that scenario, and that's definitely one thing that I think I see a lot of people kind of fuck up on, I guess you could say. So the next thing, as I mentioned pink ward earlier, vision is the most important part of a bait. Not ideally, you want to set up kind of wards where their path is going to be coming into you. So for an example, we'll just keep using the death bush. So let's say we are blue side team, they are red, we are at Dragon Pit Death Bush, and we want to set up a bait in that bush. So we are going to want to set up wards on the opposite side of the river wall. So their entrance from mid lane on their, what you would consider a safe side, but ward over there. We also want to put a ward at the blue buff bush, and ideally a ward in the bottom of river, like at the bottom dragon entrance too. So just with those 3 simple wards, a sight stone is all you need to get that. That's not even including pink wards that everyone can pick up. Those 3 wards will cover every single entrance unless they somehow flank behind you with like a teleport or some unknown strategy that you can't really prepare for, or that you shouldn't want to prepare for. Then you have vision of them entering. You have full knowledge of where they are going to be and when, as long as you time it correctly. Ideally, you get more wards than 3. You get as many as possible, and you can see every single step of the way. What that does is that allows you, because the reason why baits are so effective is because you get the upper hand. You get that one, maybe half a second to maybe a second and a half of a jump on them. Excuse the plane, sorry. I guess it's not a plane, it's a fighter jet. But as mentioned, I live next to the Air Force Base, so we get that quite often. I thought they were done with their practice this morning, but I guess not. Nonetheless, off topic. So the reason why baits are so effective is because you get the jump on them before they get the jump on you. And as I'm sure you're aware of, half a second to a second and a half is a lot of time in League of Legends team fights. You can get aced in half a second. You can get aced in a second, and you can definitely sure as hell get aced in a second and a half. So that little advantage usually means a one-team fight. Especially when it gets to later game, when there's going to be more damage per second coming out from all positions, then that's really when baits are the most effective, but also the most dangerous because they can return the damage. Um, one thing that I notice a lot of people do not do: press tab before the team fights. If you're baiting the enemy team, that means you're going to want to team fight or you're going to want to fight. So always, of course, plan for the worst case scenario. So one thing that you can do, press tab and check active items. If their ADC has a Blade of the Rune King, you should know that maybe chasing is not the best plan. If you see that they're starting to disengage, then let them go and take the objective, because they're most likely going to be low from the bait anyways. But if you keep chasing, let's say they have a Twitch with a Blade of the Rune King and maybe like an extra item like a longsword or something, then you don't want them. You don't want to keep chasing, because he's going to have that active to slow you down and be able to kite in the best case scenario for them. So you want to be aware of active items like Blade of the Rune King, active items that can change a team fight, like a Mikhail's. If your bait is centered around a Thresh Hook or something to that effect, or Viger Stun, then knowing that they have that Mikhail's or not is huge. That can make or break the bait or the team fight. If your entire plan relies on stunning their one person and they immediately Mikhail's out of it, then it's a 5v5 team fight, and your advantage of coming out of the fog of war is completely gone, is completely negated by that one active item. So definitely be aware of actives. Also know the priority target and damage dealers. If you see that Corki has just hit his Triforce and he is now the priority target, he is the one that is going to be doing the most damage in that team fight, most likely in mid game. I really can't think of a carry that out damages Corki in the mid lane with Triforce. It's pretty ridiculous the type of damage that he does, and that's why I'm such a big fan of him. But nonetheless, so pretty much just know the priority targets and damage dealers. If Corki's 0-2 and he's underfed on their team, but they have a Diana that's 10-1, then you're obviously going to want to take out that damage threat immediately and let the Corki tickle you while you fuck up the carry, and then turn your targets to either the rest of the team or the objective. Because their damage dealer is now down, you have less damage coming at you while you're taking the objective. And most likely they're not going to want to fight or contest with their heavy damage dealer down. One last thing I wanted to mention about baits is Kobe, actually the broadcaster for the North American LCS, he actually mentioned a very good point that I did not think of at the time. I was actually writing, the points that I wanted to make in this video, and then I heard him I overheard him say it during the broadcast, and it fit perfectly. It's very, very true what he says. So what you want to do when you're baiting is you want to kind of use a con artist approach to it. I don't know if you've ever, I don't know, happen to know the name of the game. I know it actually officially has a name, but it's pretty much people use cards or a ball under a cup. So like a ball under a cup, and then they start doing this with it, and they shuffle it, and then they say, okay, choose the one that has the ball. And if you know that con method, you know that they let you win a couple times. They may bet $1 or $2, and they'll say, I bet you $1 you can't find the ball under this cup this time. And then you'll be like, all right, well, I just got it the last 3 times. Why not? So you do it and you win, and you're like, oh, wow, okay. So the guy goes, all right. Well, how about this? How about we bet $50? How about we bet $100 this time? And you just won 5 times in a row, so why wouldn't you take that bet? You know why? Because he's been holding back. That was not his actual speed, or that was not his actual trick that he was doing. It's a con. He knows that you are going to lose that $100 even though you won $3 like 2 seconds before. The reason I bring that up is because that works perfectly in an analogy for team fights. You want to get them to commit some of their resources. So for example, if you're baiting and let's say you have your Thresh out warding, you're gonna want them to commit maybe a stun. Like let's say Thresh is warding and Aurelia is coming up. The entire team of teammates of Thresh are hiding in the bush waiting for the bait. Aurelia comes up and Thresh kind of acts scared. He sets down a ward and then starts to run. Like maybe he was just trying to get a deep ward really quick before he heads out. And Aurelia, jumps on him, stuns him, starts doing some damage. Maybe Thresh gets down to 60% health. Flashes into the bush, and Aurelia chases. That's exactly what you want. You want her stun is down. Her Q is most likely down because she didn't kill him. So what the hell is she going to bring to the team fight other than her ult? Not much. She committed her main resources of escape by jumping on the Thresh. She committed her time, her abilities in League on the Thresh. And yeah, he took some damage, probably a significant amount of damage at times, but those resources are now down and there's 5 people there waiting to jump on the Aurelia. So what you want them to do, as mentioned, get them to commit resources. In League, it's going to be time and spells, and feel comfortable and get them to want to commit more, maybe bring more members of their team, and obviously that's going to lead to more success for the bait. Alright guys, so thanks for watching this quite long video about baiting, how to set up a proper bait in League of Legends. I hope you guys enjoyed. I thought this was a pretty interesting topic to talk about, and I really hope you do enjoy. Remember to like the video, comment in the section below. If you have any video suggestions, please throw them my way. You can either do that here on YouTube or through email. As always, I have the email and other information for Dizzy Gaming in the comment section or in the description below. So yeah, thanks you guys for watching. This has been Gilbert, Lala Lakers with Dizzy Gaming, and remember to stay competitive.